All right, all right. Positive energy all the time. Here we go, here we go. Rep your city. Represent your city. Hope everybody's doing great. Here we go. Got Indianapolis in the house. Everybody on Facebook. I'm representing Chicago. Everybody on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and my other Facebook account. I represent Chicago. We got Greensboro in the building. We got Baltimore in the house. We got San Jose in the building. Who else we got? We got New Orleans in the house. Everybody rep your city, rep your city. We got Minneapolis in the building. Blackamore, good to see you. Oh boy. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go. I just got off the phone with a friend of mine. He we got the DMV in the building. He was angry about this story. He didn't like me laughing about it. We disagreed because my attitude is, leave Trump alone. Leave him alone. Let him get out of office. Get him out of office if that's what you want to do. But you already know he's all about retribution. So you poke the bear. I don't have a problem with you poking the bear. I just have a problem when you complain when the bear bites you. That's all. He can't do that. Okay. I find it entertaining. I find Donald Trump extremely entertaining. I ain't kidding. What a character. Unbelievable. She got up there and hollered and screamed one day. And when you look up, Medicaid pause for the whole state. Medicaid paused for the whole state. You can't make this up. I didn't know the other lady was a Muslim too. What a bad look. And this, see this Ilhan, she's more Muslim than she is black. You have some black people, when they get in these religions or these belief systems, they don't be black no more. They be their belief system. So they'll ride with anybody in that belief system before they ride with their race. But that was a bad look, okay? That's just not smart, you know? So now that's making a big deal. These two Muslim ladies sitting there mad at the white Christian president. It's just, mm, and I'm for standing up against the system for sure. But if your plan is to make change, you have to be strategical. You have to use strategy. You can't just jump out the window if you're trying to make change. This is not how you make change in a professional setting like that. This is tacky. We got Texarkana in the building. Y'all rep your seat, rep your city, rep your city. King Timmy is in the building. Salute, my brother, salute. They deleted my other TikTok, so I haven't been able to watch you like that. I haven't been back on TikTok. They just deleted a couple of my TikToks and with no explanation or nothing. TikTok is so tacky. People go over there and they build up a TikTok account and then it just be gone. You can't contact nobody hardly. It's bootleg as hell. A lot of these platforms don't understand that without the content creators, you got no platform. So if you don't cater to the content creators, we'll just go somewhere else and build that up. I've seen it since MySpace. I've seen it with MySpace. I've seen it with Facebook. I've seen it with Twitter. You're going to see it with TikTok and Instagram if they don't get themselves together. But this lady got up there hollering and screaming. That was so tacky. And then you hollering and screaming at Trump, which that's not Islamic behavior. No. But it make it look bad though. Because it's bad enough that you basically had a Islamic city that stole billions and sent it, and the terrorists got it, you know? And it's bad when you African and Islamic, you know. Although a lot of them Islamic people, they don't be Africans. They put their religion first. Religion with Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, it's kind of the worst because they just be that. They don't be people no more. And then them three don't get along. So it's just a big old pot of confusion. And those of us that's not super religious like that, we mix between these three. They get into politics, and it's just a mess. It really is. The whole idea of a jihad is just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? You want to make me submit to Islam. What? It's crazy. And the Jewish people, oh my God, unbelievable. These religious people, they not people, they just their religion, you know? You ever had a conversation with a fanatical Christian? Oh my God, it's the worst. So this lady, man, she went and did this, man, and looked up, and bam. So now Walsh, all of a sudden, this his last year at office. He's probably going to prison if his hands is dirty. So now all of a sudden, he announced a series of legislative initiatives aimed at preventing fraud in the state's social services program after a widespread scandal that drew the attention of the White House. Now, he needs to stop because anybody with any sense know that this man knew that was happening. The governor got to sign off. The government got to sign off all that money. You're going to let some people just come from a broken down country, right? And run for office, which I feel like an immigrant should not be able to run for office at all, okay? You should not be allowed to be in office, period. The first people that should be allowed to run is your offspring that's born in the country. But you cannot move here from Jamaica or from Africa and be no congressman or no senator. They got to get rid of that. Like, you're not really an American. You haven't really bought into the system. You know what I'm saying? How you come here from some other country and you a congressman, you a senator in Chicago over us that been here for many, many years. Our family trace all the way back, blacks and whites and some Hispanics. And you a Johnny come lately, and you come over here and all of a sudden you're my congressman or you're my mayor. How the hell is you the mayor? Unless you was born in this country, you should not be able to take no political office. It's fine, you live here, you get your citizenship, but if you're not born here, you should not be able to govern those of us that are born here. Okay? Period. Period. You can't come here from Haiti and then be in office. If you want to be in office, take your ass back to Haiti and go run for office in Haiti. Because many times you came from a broken down country. That's why you're here. So you ain't going to be able to govern like that. And then you're going to be leaning towards certain people. That's why we got that mess up there. Because this lady, she not born in this country. Her heart is in East Africa. Okay? That's where her heart is, not in the United States. Okay, I got a lot of brethren and sisters from all over the world. And my brethren from Trinidad and Jamaica, their heart is in Trinidad and Jamaica. These Mexicans is over here. Their heart is in Mexico. And you can't invest in people and put them in power to come to this country that when something happened, they're going to run back home. Because if you ran from where you live at here, You're a run back. You're a runner. You understand? You're a runner. It's disrespectful. We in America, people was in America during the Dust Bowl, during the Great Depression. Did Americans run every damn where? No, we stayed here. Americans stayed here and fixed it. But immigrants are runners. They lack the power to make change where they live at. And so if you was a coward and you ran from Haiti, you can't be nothing over here. That's why foundational Black Americans is beefing with tethers. Cause shut your ass up. You not you. Who is you? Who is you? You're welcome if you shut up and just go to work and take care, but you can't come over here calling no shots. Where they do that at? Show me a job where you can come into a job as a regular worker and you can move up to the boss quicker than the people that been there working already. Who gonna respect that? I'm working at a factory for 10 years, 15 years. You come work 3 months, they make you the boss. You understand? You come and make it. The American political system, yeah, but what's the political system in Africa? It ain't one. It's Haiti. So yeah, the American political system ain't perfect, but if it's that bad, why you running from Jamaica? Why you running from Africa? Why you running here? And many of them, they come here talking about how bad it is. Let that make some sense. I got a house. My house raggedy. It's raining in my house. So you let me stay at your house. I start complaining about your house. That's immigrants. A lot of them. What can you say when you had to leave where you was at? And the American system compared to Somalia, come on. Make it make some sense. On top of that, you come to America because the streets is paved, the lights is on, and you want to pretend that the politicians ain't doing nothing. Well, if the politicians ain't doing nothing, why are you here? Why is the country better than where you from? If they doing nothing, and all they doing is robbing the Americans, why are you here? Because I live in Chicago, and the politicians doing a great job keeping this city running. Chicago's a beautiful city. It ain't nowhere in Haiti or none of them places like that. You know what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? But you should not be able to come here. Ain't no way this lady should be no legislator. Now, if she have a baby over here, that baby can grow up be a legislator, but she can't come over here and be no legislator. They need to change that. They got to change that. Unless you born in the country, you cannot be no politician. Barack Obama was born in Hawaii, despite the weirdos making up stuff. Weirdos, because he was black. But he was born here. His daddy couldn't run for no office, though. So the only one that's not an immigrant is the one born here. All the ones move here as an immigrant. No immigrant should be able to be a politician. You is an immigrant. Okay? The only immigrants that could be politicians was the first immigrants that came here and built the country. After them, the bank is closed. We don't need no 20, 26 immigrants, 20, 25, 24 coming here and then running for office. And that's why you got the mess. because as soon as some Mexican immigrant get in power, he's gonna turn the place into Mexico. This lady helped turn Minneapolis into East Africa. Facts. Many parts of Minneapolis is degraded. Their neighborhoods look like you in Mogadishu or somewhere. Because they're not being vetted. They got to be vetted. They got to be brought into the system. Like I lived in LA in the 80s. And because the Mexicans was vetted, right? Then LA was still LA. But now that they done let the borders run across, LA is Mexico, Tijuana. It's a mess. It's dirty in a lot of places. The Mexicans that been here don't like the Mexicans that came, because the Mexicans that been here, right, had already adapted to being Americans. And then you let all of these Venezuelans and Nicaraguans come and just ruin the country. Immigration have to be a little bit at a time so you don't lose your country. You let a little people come, then they forced to adapt to your way of living. If you let a whole bunch of people come, they're going to destroy your way of living. It just is what it is. They have to come in a way where they adapt to how you live. In other words, if me and my friend move on your block, we got to adapt to the way you live. But if me and 20 of my friends live on your block, we're going to bring the way we live on your block. We're going to bring the way, it's 20 of us. We don't got to adapt because we can stay around each other and just keep that same low life mentality that we had, that less than American mentality. If you bring a bunch of people from the projects at one time into a nice neighborhood, they destroy it. You have to bring a couple so that they have to transition. You can look at raising children. If I got a home and I got 3 children and I want to bring more children into the family, orphans or whatever, the best way to do that is one at a time. Get one, raise that one for about 2 or 3 years, let that one adapt to living how my children are living. Then once that one, now it's 4 of them living that kind of way. Then I bring another one. Now it's 4 living the way we live, and one that got to learn and got to get in where they fit in. But if I go and I got 3 children and I go adopt 3 children, those 3 children would unite, create this kind of life. My children got that kind of life. It'd be turmoil. It's too easy for them not to adapt because birds of a feather stick together. So you don't bring a bunch of birds of a feather into your nest. That's just common sense. That's just basic common sense. You can't just bring a bunch of people into this country. They're going to tear the country up. And then they're going to create situations. Especially with Black Americans. I'm going to just tell you, the Venezuelan situation in Chicago, it was going to go bad for the Venezuelans. Everybody was trying to act like that was going to go bad for us. No, it wasn't. That situation is detrimental to the Venezuelans. That's a fact. Anybody that's outside of Chicago will tell you that. Everybody's like, the Venezuelans gonna do all this. I'm like, bruh, no. You obviously never lived in Chicago in a black community or been around black people in Chicago. No, the Venezuelans, it was gonna be a problem. And everybody swore it's gonna be a problem. Where is that problem? I don't forget. Everybody was saying stuff to me. The Venezuelans gonna do this and that. The Venezuelans didn't do nothing. They bowed down. Tell me I'm lying. Show me where the Venezuelans came to Chicago acting a fool. They came to Chicago. They got introduced to the Chicago Police Department. And let me tell you something. If you four Venezuelans and you come in, you break the law, and you go to the county jail where it's just four Venezuelans, guess how that go? Guess how that don't go when I'm in the county jail and they say, on the new. And I'm in here with all these black gang members and four Venezuelans come on our deck. Because it ain't no Venezuelan deck here. There is no Venezuelan where a bunch of Venezuelans is locked up in the county jail. It's just you folk. What's up? Now, if y'all got a bad reputation in the streets, I'm just saying, on for their grade, it gonna go ugly. Because I mean, when they came here, I mean, my attitude was, I wish a V would. I wish a Venezuela would. That was my attitude. I wish a Venezuela would play with me. That was my attitude. Until I seen they wasn't like that. Because I seen them getting on the train, having shanks on them and stuff like that. So I was getting on the train sometime going downtown so I wouldn't have to park the car. And I was like, all right, get on this car with me. That's what I was on. I'm not promoting no violence. I'm saying we don't want no violence. Get them Venezuelans out of here. Send them back to Venezuela. Let a few of them come at a time so they can acclimate to our lifestyle. No. Minneapolis let all them people come from East Africa with their religion, with their way of life, scamming, sending how much money back to Venezuela. Federal prosecutors and officials have estimated that fraud involved in Minnesota state and federal social services program, with a large number of defendants of Somali descent implicated, ranges between $1 billion and $9 billion. This widespread fraud, which escalated significantly during the COVID-19 pandemic, has been described as industrial scale, with allegations including the misuse of funds for child nutrition, housing stability, and Medicaid services. So they came over and they wasn't doing like the typical fraud. The typical fraud, some white dude, him and his friend do a fraud, or some black dude, they do fraud. But they came as a country doing the fraud as a country. That's the difference. That's why they fraud is so egregious. Because I had a friend say, well, white Americans been doing frauds, yeah, as small groups. Some senator and come his buddies. But these people came as a country and as a religion, doing national fraud as a group that's not Americans. They're not Americans. They don't want to be Americans. Do I think the Somalians going to be able to implement? No, the Somalians going to be able to be deported. They going home. They being deported. Okay? You're not going to have no kind of Sharia, nothing in the United States, okay? It's not going to happen, okay? You're going to get out. Sharia law is not going to trump the federal laws and state laws, okay? There's federal laws, right? And there's state laws. And Sharia law is not going to be acknowledged in no court of law in the United States. The court of law going to still be the court of law. And if you become a Somalia and you become a judge and you don't uphold the court of law, the feds coming. See, one thing protect America, the feds. The feds is federal. And when you go to a state like that and you get too big for local city police and state police, the feds come. And Somalians don't run the country. It's not going to happen. If you come to Chicago and you get too Sharia, we're going to be on your bumper. I can't even live with you if I know that's how you practicing and I pass you on the street and you looking at me crazy. It's going to be a problem. I'm going to challenge you in the door. Like, people don't understand America. They used to people coming somewhere and challenging everybody. This is America. We'll challenge you first. We'll be like, what's up with you? Facts. You can't be no radical Muslim staring at me like that. That's going to be a problem. I'm just telling you, I'll be like, what's up with you, punk? I'm just telling you, I ain't gonna like you. I'm gonna be with we're gonna be with the smoke. It's gonna be smoke over that. You're trying to come and you're trying to say no this, no that. The only way you can do that, you got to be quiet, like the Jewish people. The Jewish people, they go get political power. And they set their little stuff up and they be quiet. And only them live there. But it don't look like Israel. It still look like America. They don't turn the place into Beirut. The place still be American. They just be Jewish people living there. They don't upset the way of life. They just go to their synagogue, go to their stores. They look like American Jewish people. Somebody from Mogadishu somewhere it start looking tacky, raggedy. Third world. The Jewish people don't be third world. They don't act like third world people. They act like modern people with a religion. That's it. And they taking over a lot of towns and stuff because people ain't having no babies. Maybe I'll talk about that. Everybody like, they taking over. They only taking over because you don't want to have no babies. And anytime you're a black man, you don't want to have no babies, and then another man come have a babies, you're going to get punked and took over. Young brothers ain't no revolutionaries. They don't got no militant mind state. I'll talk about that if I remember. These young black men don't want to have no babies. They traitors to the race. If you ain't having no babies, you're a rat. You're a traitor. Listen, if you're a young brother and you ain't having no babies, you're a traitor. Because what you're saying is, Pharaoh, I don't got no problem with other people dominating me. Why we want to have less kids and let these other people outpopulate us and punk us. Pharaoh, I feel like Americans in Minneapolis have just let them do whatever, even change their flag to resemble the Somalian one. Wouldn't be surprised if they allow them to put it. Nah, that's not going to happen. I just told you. They went to a city that didn't have a lot of people. It wasn't a lot of people there. That's why, listen, How they get all them stores and stuff? Because the shit was empty. They didn't run no Americans out. They came into spots that was empty already. But this one I'm trying to tell you, you can't come to America. Listen to me, Devon. Listen, when you come to America, you in Minneapolis, you start doing all this stuff that represent another country. That start to spill over into Minnesota. Once that spill over into Minnesota, that begin to spill over into the USA. And when it spilled over into the USA and the feds come, they come and shutting it all down. It's over. When the feds come, they closing all that. When the feds come, because you got 6 kids and you're on welfare, they're going to cut your welfare off. They're going to cut your welfare off. They're going to end the special program that brought you over here and say, this ain't working, just like they're going to do the Haitians. This not working. We tried to help y'all. We tried to fly y'all in from a war-torn country because you got to understand, they came under a special program. They didn't come here as regular immigrants. They came with the war in Somalia, and some American politicians tried to help them. Now, when you come and you don't uphold your end of the deal, they end the program and they deport you. They go to Washington, all in favor in deporting their ass. You out of here. You out of here, because they don't understand these people make the law. And they can go in there and say, the new Deport All the Somalian Act. Boo. They came under refugee status, which means you could be deported. You're going to be deported. And she helped you. She helped. She ensured they're going to throw Somalians out. Look at this white lady's face with the off-white jacket and, looking fly. Mama, look at, had I had done, trying to come represent, some American stuff, and you back there hollering, okay? Look at the one on your left all the way with the glass on with the smile on their face. Look at the white dude right behind the lady with the glass on, the other Muslim lady. They all went home and said, we got to get them the hell out of here. Yeah, they got to go. Yeah, they got to go. They went home, said they got to go. Couple days later, bam. Couple days later, bam. Mr. Walsh detailed the anti-fraud plans a day after the Trump administration said it intended to withhold $259 million in Medicaid funds earmarked for the state, citing evidence that hundreds of millions of dollars have been stolen from welfare programs administered by state agencies. They finna cut the water off. Not only is they going to cut off the Medicaid, that's temporary. They're going to cut off the Medicaid. They're going to cut off other programs. And then they're going to deport them. Then they're going to cut it back on. They're going to turn the water off. They're going to deport them people. Okay? When she did this, she was calling ICE. She said, ICE, come get us. The amount of ICE that was there now finna be quadruple. It's going to be a military state there. That's what she said. Come F me up. Come F me up. I dare you, Trump. I dare you. That's what she said. He like that. Cut the water off. Now, when they cut the water off in the whole state, the whites in the state's going to be like, y'all got our water cut off. We need y'all to get the hell out of here. Because even though they in Minneapolis, they don't run Minnesota, they got a serious wake-up call coming. You know how many white Americans and black Americans is in the state of Minnesota? They just in Minneapolis. Man, they out of here. Somalians is going to prison where they'll be deported. They're going to be deported like cattle. It's over. They blew it. Not only will they be deported, when they get back to Somalia, they're going to sick the CIA on them over there. They're going to sick the military on them over there. Listen, man. They don't know who they playing with. Not only will America send you back to Somalia, they will go over to Somalia and destroy you. They will go to Somalia. Listen, the United States going to go rob Somalia. Whatever Somalia got money, they going over there and take all that back. Man, to the young people watching me, listen to me. You don't know nothing about the eagle. The eagle swooped down on his prey. Man, you don't know nothing about white Americans and the American system. They going and getting that money back. So whatever kind of natural resources they got in Somalia, whatever, they going taking all that. And they gonna blow up. They gonna attack all of them terrorists over there. Watch what happens. Just watch the news. The military coming. Okay, you sent money to a terrorist group, Al Shabaab. All right, go Shabab they El. They gonna Shabab they El. They not finna be no El Shabaab. They finna be Shishkubab. They finna be Shishkubab. I'm telling you, man, they don't know who they playing with. The only people on this planet that's not white Americans that know how this game go is foundational black Americans. We the only one know how it go. You Africans, you Asians, you Chinese, y'all don't know how this go over here. You're new, you're Johnny come lately. You don't know who you playing with. They don't know who they playing with. They going home too. The Ethiopians going home. If you look, East Africans is going home. You don't know who you playing with. We know. They don't know. We know. So they done pause Medicaid. That's just the beginning. And anybody got sense know how fast did that happen? How fast after this did they pause Medicaid? Do that sound like they playing? It ain't been nothing but a couple days. Medicaid, cut it off. And the way of Trump administration, they got more announcements coming. Cut the Medicaid off. Do this to them. Do that to them. Do that to them. Oh, they send ICE in. Anybody look like a Somalian, harass them. If you're Ethiopian or whatever, they throwing you on the ground. They throwing them on the ground. Okay? If you're East African, you're done. It's like this. I live in a neighborhood, right? And we selling illegal substances. We got a house. We selling illegal substances. There's a house over there doing it, 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 a house over there. But we get sloppy at the house we at. We get sloppy. We get all bodacious. Right? So the DEA and the feds come in. Once they bust us, they get the magnifying glass out. Now they see them, everybody going down. Everybody going down because we get sloppy. Every Somalian neighborhood in this country is going down. not just in Minnesota. Every Somalian community in this country is going down. All of them. They raiding all of them. They already was talking about scams in the other cities. They just ain't highlighted. They looking at them. They going to jail everywhere. It's a wrap. They blew it. They blew their opportunity. They blew it. And then they stole all this money, sent it over there. But these dudes gonna go take that money back. They don't understand America. Oh, you sent 90 billion over there? Okay, we gonna go take 300 billion. We gonna take $1 trillion out y'all country. Man, they gonna take all their natural resources, quadruple what they sent them. $9 billion, man, they coming for $1 trillion. They're gonna come take 18 billion quick. 20 billion. Right off the bat, they coming for 20 billion. I ain't pay that no attention, no crazy lady asking for reparations. You know, she talking crazy. Reparations for what? How Somalians gonna steal billions of dollars and ask for reparations? You know what I'm saying? She a fool. Whoever asked for that, right? She a fool. She just Bob. She should have shut up. Why would she open her mouth right now? She like, feds come throw me out. That's what she really said. What she said is feds come throw me out. If you're a Somalian, why would you open your mouth right now? You know what I'm saying? Dumb as hell. Why would you open your mouth right now and ask them for some money when your people then stole all that money? Oh, all the white countries are going to put them out. Yeah, England, France, Germany. Get them out of here. They fraudsters. They're going to be looking at fraud. Somalians is fraudsters. That's their reputation. From this point on, Somalians is fraudsters. As a group of people, their reputation is gone. Because when you start fraud 9 billion, then you get stereotyped. It ain't like it's no one dude. That's not no one dude. That's take a whole community to scam that much money. So you scammers, you got to go. And you not white. Because people be like, well, what about other? If you white, it's different. But if you white and you scam and you get sloppy and the government lose the money, you going to prison. I don't know what nobody think. You don't get away with that because you white and get sloppy. If you white and you get sloppy, you going to prison. Period. So you can scam, but you got to figure out how to legally scam and keep it in some kind of order. Because if it leak out and it's bogus and it's wild, you're going to prison. I don't give a damn what color you is or where you come from. In America, you can do crimes, but you can't get caught. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people understand America. You can do crimes. You just can't get caught. You get caught, they're like, hey, you sloppy, you got caught. Lock him up. Lock her up. Get sloppy. They ain't xenophobic. I don't like them people either. I ain't xenophobic. We don't like them. We don't like them because they don't like us. That's not xenophobic. People come over here and don't like the country at all. And they come here to eat off the country like vampires. And no, we don't like them. Then he called it xenophobia. When you came over here disrespecting the country, you a vulture, you a leech. And then when I don't like you because you're a leech, now I got xenophobia because you a damn leech. Because America don't hate immigrants. America's built on immigrants. What we hate is leeches and vampires. When you come over here and you really don't like the country, that's why we don't like you. A lot of immigrants don't like the country. There's a whole bunch of Mexicans in this country right now that don't like the country, and that's what we don't like. There's Mexicans here that love the country, and they'll tell you there's Mexicans over here that don't like the country, and nobody wants you to come to their house, and you don't even like them. You don't even like them. You're a user. Nobody's going to let you come here, suck the money up, and then you're going to run somewhere else. You're a runner. That's just real. If you ruin your country, then you come here, you start stealing from this country. You've already showed us once you suck it dry, you're going to move somewhere else. You transient. So you're not Americans. You're not here for the long haul. You got to get out. You would let somebody come to your house, eat up all your food, stay in your house, run it down, and then go move to somebody else's house? You would let that happen? Because that's all they're going to do. They same way they came there, they're going to go somewhere else. They transient. You ever helped a transient person? You ever helped somebody that was transient? And they came to you, they want to settle down, somebody help them get a job, get some stability, and you put all this effort into them, and next thing you know, they gone. They never was going to try to get a job. They never was looking for no stability. They was just using you. And they bounce from person to person. That's them Somalians. And a lot of these immigrants ain't nothing but bloodsuckers. They're not coming here for a better way of life. If you coming here for a better way of life, why would you take $9 billion and send it to Somalia? Why wouldn't you take $9 billion and spend it there and build up where you at? You take from $1 billion to $9 billion and you mail it back to the place you said wasn't no good. Make some sense. You said Somalia, no good. America make a program to bring you over here. Then you take all the money and send it back to the place you said sucks. That makes sense. I wouldn't say the majority of immigrants. There's immigrants that really come here and become Americans. There's immigrants that come here and be Americans. There's immigrants that come here and really want to be here and want to be Americans. I got Jamaican friends that have been here since the 70s. They want to be Americans. They want to be here. They live like Americans. They just talk Jamaican, but they want to be here. The New York Africans love us. New York is full of users. There has Foundation of Black Americans have not benefited nothing from Africans. Africans suck. With all due respect, Africans is the worst. They don't bring nothing to the table. They segregated from us. And ain't no love with Africans. Definitely deport most Africans. We have no relationship with Africans. Africans been coming here since the 70s. And what has manifested? 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010, 2020, 60 years. Show me what Africans have built with us. They came to the Essence Fest, didn't respect us, had African food, tried to take it over. They didn't come to the Essence Fest and add to it and have a lot of Black Americans work with it. They came as a competition to take it over. That's what they did. They came with the competition to try to take it over. So you got to ask yourself, well, if you can do all this stuff, why you didn't stay your ass in Africa and do it? Why you didn't take nothing from no white Americans? Why you take from Black Americans? Why you didn't take from no Mexican Americans or no Italian Americans? We have no relationship with Africans. If it was up to me, we deport 90% of them. It would be best for the United States to get Africans out this country. Because Africans, soon as things go bad, they're going to run back to Africa. They're not going to join the military. They're not going to help us fight. They runners. Anytime you ran from your home, you're a coward anyway, because you should have stayed and built your home, right? But in some cases, you're looking for a better life. So if you run from your home and come here and you look for a better life, you're going to act like an American. You're going to do American things. You're going to have the American flag. But if you run from your country you hate, but you waving that flag, deport. If you ran from Mexico here, but the only flag you waving is Mexican Independence Day, deport. Because you are Mexican, you're not no American. If I was president, I'd ban Mexican Independence Day. This is not Mexico. And if the Mexicans came out with all them cards and them flags, we'd arrest thousands of them all across the country and deport them immediately. We'd deport you. Because I would call it treason. Don't wave your flag in this country. That is treason. You don't wave your flag up here. This is the USA. You want to come up here, wave the USA flag. If you waving your flag, that means you want to go home. I'm going to send you home where you can wave it all day. You waving any flag, Jamaican flag, any flag, I'm going to send you home and you can wave it all you want. So when I hear people don't like Trump, say a tyrant, he ain't bad as I would be. You would definitely call me a tyrant. I would deport way more people than Trump. I would deport millions of people. I'm telling you. I'd be worse than Trump. I'd deport all those Mexicans with the Mexican flag. I'd change the law. If you wave a foreign flag in this country, it's treason. If you wave a foreign flag in this country, it's treason. I go back to the old way. In the old way, you could not lift your flag in France. You can't go to France and post a U.S. flag. That would be called treason in the old days. Because when you go to war and you conquer other countries, you take their flag down and you do what? You raise your flag. That's why they say that our flag was still there. Meaning that when they was at war, when the bombs was bursting in there, the light showed them that the flag was still up. As long as the flag was still up, then America was still independent. If they would have seen the British flag, right? Boom. That means the British took your country. That's what it means. That's what it means in the military. In the military. No, USA ain't gonna keep giving passes. They didn't give passes. They just ain't got time to pay attention to everything. So you get away with things because people's occupied dealing with other issues. And then you get away with things until it becomes an issue. So a lot of people don't understand that America's a huge country. They can't police every issue. They got to concentrate on money. They got to concentrate on farming. They got to concentrate on agriculture. They got to concentrate on import, export. It's a lot of things. When you run the country, there's a lot to concentrate on. So it's not like they could just get in office and just fix everything. But a lot of times when you start doing stuff and then you become an issue and you become a news item, that's when they say, oh, we need to focus on this. So now the immigrants, like idiots, is people focusing on. For example, the Venezuelans. When a lot of Venezuelans got up here, they immediately started pushing their gang and started doing crimes. Everybody act like they didn't see that. They put themselves in the headlines. They start pushing that Telerago or whatever the name of their gang. Soon as they got up here, they start gangbanging. Tell me I'm lying. How we know the name of the gang? Like Trini, some shit, right? So they came up here and they started pushing crime and made themselves a target. Whereas the Chinese that came across, they disappeared quietly. No, it ain't because they not white immigrants. It's because they stupid. Got nothing to do with your race. If you come here white from Poland and you start some kind of Polish gang or some type of Polish shit, they gonna deport you. When the Italians was here and got too out of line with crime, they all caught Ricos. Yeah, that's the name. The Italians are a perfect example. When the Italians went further than the Irish and everybody got the trip, tell me they didn't put them all in court. The Russians ain't out there tripping though. So it is true. The Russians are not. So are the Russians attracting attention? Yes or no? The answer is no. Thank you. Stop interrupting me. The Russians are not getting no attention. They're not flaunting. They're quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. Y'all stop trying to debate me when you don't know what you're talking about. If you come to Chicago right now, you go to the club, you can't pick out a Russian in that club. Facts. When I drove Uber, I picked a lot of Russians up. They move like Americans. They don't show me a Russian flag in the United States. Show me Russians with a Russian flag. Show me a Russian with any Russian flag or any Russian anything on their car or anything, like the Mexicans. Show it to me. Show me a Russian neighborhood like the Somalia neighborhood. Show me one. Name me a Russian neighborhood that stands out like them raggedy Somalia neighborhoods in Minnesota. Show me one. No. The Russians, unless they tell you they Americans, they appear to be Americans. I got a lot of Russian friends, and they Americans. They don't walk around talking about Russia, 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 Russia. They don't do that. All the whites learned from the Italians. The Italians was doing that. And then the Italians learned the hard way. So they're not waving. The only time you're going to see the only white group that you ever see do anything is on St. Patrick's Day. That's a fact. And they get away with it because St. Patrick's Day is not, it's an Irish holiday, right? It's an Irish holiday, but out of 100%, It's only 30% of Irish holiday. St. Patrick's Day is a get drunk holiday. Everybody go get drunk. Black Americans here on St. Patrick's Day, they with it. They put their green on, they go get drunk. That's the day you get drunk. Tell me I'm lying. St. Patrick's Day is not about Irish, it's about drinking. Bars open 24 and all that. In Chicago, St. Patrick's Day is about getting drunk. The day after St. Patrick's Day, it's a whole bunch of videos of white girls throwing up, people throwing up. It's all about pubs and getting drunk. Tell me I'm lying. It's not really about Ireland. It's about the bars is open. Cheers, beer, Guinness stout. That's all St. Patrick's Day ain't about Ireland. They don't say nothing about Ireland. Not really. They come from Ireland here to drink. It's a drinking day. Get drunk. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about. It's about hey, because I was driving Uber. I wouldn't work on St. Patrick's Day because they throw up in your car. When they throw up in your car, you got to take off, and Uber only pay you for the throw up. Because I had a white girl throw up in my car. She threw up all on the back seat, and then Uber paid for me to get it clean, but they didn't give me my $200. I lost that. I lost a lot of money because I had to stop working when she threw up in the car. So I stopped doing drunk days. But not Irish is cool on St. Patrick's Day. And then all them white people ain't Irish. Them just white people. Listen, them don't be Irish. Some of them be Irish. But them be white people like to drink all on St. Patrick's Day. They don't be no Irish. Like their granddaddy might have been Irish and their mom and their grandmama German, but there don't be no pure Irish people like that. They'll just be white people getting drunk, having fun. It's a get drunk day. You don't see no Irish flags. All you see is they got green on. Everybody put on green, but they don't be waving no flags though. You just put on green and go get drunk. And once that's over, you don't see no Irish nothing. This is why my Mexican friends don't like the border open, because the Mexicans, they wasn't pushing Mexico. When I lived in LA in the 80s, I lived in a neighborhood called Glendale. And Glendale's up by Pasadena. And Glendale was mostly Mexican. They wasn't pushing no Mexico. I lived with them. They was cool as hell too. But they was not pushing Mexico. They was California. They was Americans. They had no Mexican flag nowhere. Anybody lived in LA in the 80s? Right. If they moved like how the Irish and the Germans in there moved and blended in, because, okay, that's a good question, because this is what happened. The whites, the way they blended in was like this. When the Irish and Germans in them came, they had Germantown, they had Little Italy, they had Greek town, stuff like that, right? So because they lived in these little neighborhoods, your son, if he live in Greek town, he meet a girl that's Greek. He Greek, the girl's Greek. Your Italian boy or daughter live in Little Italy, they Italian, the girl Italian. But as the country started growing and they stopped just having to go to high school and they started saying go to college, now your Italian son, he go away to college in San Diego. He go away to college in Texas. Well, he not around no Italian girls. He around white girls, all kind of white girls. So it got to the point where the white Italian just marry any white lady he fall in love with, right? So they started falling in love with anybody white. So they wasn't Italians no more. They wasn't Greeks no more. That's how they became white. And that's how we became black. We became black because they became white. And I always bring up the gangster movie with the crazy guy that the helicopter was chasing in that was on the substances. Remember, he was started dating the Jewish girl and was cheating on his wife with the Jewish. And he would eventually divorce his wife, married the Jewish lady. If she would have had a baby, that baby wouldn't have been Italian or Jew. That baby would have been white. And now you don't have little Italy nowhere. You don't have little Greece. There was a whole special they did in Chicago about the evaporating of authentic European restaurants because they're not Greeks no more. They're not Italians no more. So we got very few Italian restaurants and very few Greek restaurants. We don't hardly have no Polish restaurants. See, Chicago used to have all that. Chicago used to have Polish restaurant, Polish sausage you really got from the Polish people. You would go to the meat, whatever you call that, where they sell meat, and you would get your Polish sausage from the Polish. You would go to Italian neighborhood and get your Italian beef and your Italian sausage from the Italians. You don't have that no more. That evaporated because they started mixing. Like my boy Uncle Mike, his wife from Poland. She speak Polish, but Uncle Mike just a white dude. He don't really got none of that. Because they just white. Because college made them be national. When I was growing up, everything was local. Everything was local. Nothing was national because you didn't have to go to college. You understand? You didn't have to go to college. All you had to do was go to high school and you could get any job. And when I say any job, I mean any job, except maybe a doctor or something that took a specialty. But any other job, stock market and all that, you didn't have to know none of that. I work for the U.S. Treasury Department. They hire you before they move this person up. They hire you. That person train you. Then you take the position and they move up. Do I think there'll ever be a good amount of intermarriages between us and the black immigrants in the future? I mean, the African girls is after black Americans now, but the problem is it's too many black American women. I'm not finna pass up a whole bunch of fine women looking for no African chick. Because when everybody else, the difference between us and the Italians in them, our neighborhood stayed black. We the only group that never changed. The foundational black Americans, we didn't change. We didn't get breeded out like the Italians. We didn't get breeded out like the Greeks. We stayed black Americans. We the only group in this country that's still foundational. We still the same way. We never bled out. We never went and married a whole bunch of white women. We never went and married a bunch of Chinese women. We never went and married a bunch of Chinese women. We had babies by black women. My daddy black, my mama black. All my friends, daddy and mama's black. Everybody I know, daddy and mama black. None of my friends got no African parents. None of them. And I got thousands of friends. We the only ethnic group that's the same. We the only ones. We the only ones still the same. We the only ones. Everybody else bled out. We the only group in America that's still like we was from the beginning. Whites didn't change. No, there's two groups. The Chinese. The Chinese are still Chinese. I forgot about my Chinese brothers. The Chinese, Black Americans and the Chinese still Chinese. They don't do that. They Chinese. They marry Chinese. They live in Chinatown. They do Chinese. When they get on the L train, it's 5 Chinese. When they come to this college, it's 5 Chinese. It's 10 Chinese. They keep it Chinese. Salute to the Chinese. They didn't change. They stayed Chinese. They got Chinatown, and they do China stuff, and they got Chinese food. So the Black Americans and the Chinese, the only ones stay authentic. Let's take a break. You are getting the news live. We're going to continue in a minute. The Africans are the slowest of all of them. Because the Africans, the difference between the Chinese and the Africans, the Chinese not beefing with the Koreans. The Chinese not beefing with the Vietnamese. They got no issues. None. The Chinese are not beefing with other Asians in this country. And if you start beating up Asians, they say, stop Asian hate. They stood up for all Asians. The Africans suck. The Africans don't deal with the Jamaicans. They don't deal with the Haitians. They don't deal with the foundation of Black America. The Africans is the worst. They worthless. The Africans is a disgrace to the Black race. I'm going to tell you straight up. There's no wonder Africa is a mess. The Africans are horrible. They ain't like the Chinese. You ain't gonna see no Chinese you ain't gonna see no Korean try to take over no Chinese event the way the Africans did the Essence Fest. You ain't gonna see that. The Africans is horrible. I wouldn't give a damn if they throw all the Africans out. They worthless. They worthless in Africa and they worthless over here. To me, the Africans is make Black people look bad because they supposed to be the kings and queens of Black people, and they disgusting. To me, they don't even like each other in Africa. Not only do the Africans not like the other countries, they don't even like themselves in the same country because they got 3,000 tribes. So they beefing in Nigeria, different types of Nigerians beefing. East Africans want to join Islam and then attack the East Africans that's Christians. Nigeria, the West Africans want to join Islam and then attack the same West Africans that's Christians, the farmers. If you know anything about the Muslim Nigerians attacking the farmers, the Africans is the worst people on the planet. That's why Africa And that's done by design because they got all the natural resources. They got all the natural resources. Just look, that's the richest continent in the world. And look how they live. Look how they act. Look how they carry themselves. They don't carry themselves with no dignity or nothing. That's why I don't judge them individually, but typically I don't like Africans. Because Africans is supposed to be the total example of black unity, and they the total example of dysfunction and hate amongst the black race. So no, we don't want to identify with Africa at all. That's why we foundational black Americans. Africans is a disgrace, I'm telling you. How can Africans help us when they can't help Africa? Make it make sense. There ain't nothing in Africa. I tell this story all the time. One time, I was driving Uber, and I used to go to the Starbucks. So I get out the car, I'm going to Starbucks, and I see, I don't know which way I was walking, but I seen a East African and a West African walking in the entranceway, right? And when I seen, and I'm watching, because I was speaking to all Africans. I don't do it no more because they don't want me speaking to them. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother story. I speak to them, they act like, you know, I used to speak to them. What's up, brother? You could tell it's like the only ones that be receptive was the Ghanaians, but the rest of them, oh man, they horrible. Especially Nigerians, they look at you like, why are you speaking to me? It almost killed like a Nigerian brother to speak to you. Like you get in the elevator with a Nigerian businessman or doctor or something, you say, how you doing, brother? He's like stiff, like, fine, how are you? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you loser. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching and I see the East African, right? And I see the West African pass each other. There was no acknowledgement. Now, in my mind, y'all all the way over from the continent, right? Y'all still all the way far. So y'all from the same continent and y'all in America, you in Chicago. And you don't acknowledge another brother from the continent? I'm just looking at it. So I said, well, ain't no need of me speaking to none of them. That's why I stopped speaking to them. Because if they don't speak to each other, why the hell should I speak to you? See what I'm saying? If an East African and West African don't acknowledge each other, I'm not wasting my time. Obviously, they some haters. Neither one of them said nothing to the other one. So that whole African thing is nonsense. Them people ain't no Africans. Them people is a bunch of weirdo tribes. I don't give a damn if they fix it or not. Foundational Black Americans, we got to worry about ourselves. The hell with Africa. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of them that cool where they doing a damn thing for me. Name something that Senegalese and Gambians are doing to better our situation, and Ghanaians too. They cool, but they ain't bettering my situation, so the hell with them too. Name me 5 things we benefit from Africans. We don't benefit nothing. They just over here eating off our table and competing with us, really. They ain't bringing us to the table. They be Christians. They don't go to our church. They don't invite your black ass to dinner. If an African man and his wife never make friends with a Black American and his wife and invite them for dinner, we not having a dinner together. We not going to church together. We got no relationship. What relationship we got with any blacks? We don't got no relationship with no blacks over here. The only blacks we got a little relationship with is Jamaicans, and that's only when you go to Jamaican stuff. We don't have no relationship with no other blacks. Unless it's something y'all know something I don't know. What relationship we got with other blacks? None. We don't have no relationship with them. We on our own. We got to kick Black Americans as Pan Africans. We got to kick them to the curb. They need to pan their ass to Africa because they in the way. They like a dude that go to college. He a freshman. And he like a girl, and she never pay him no attention. And he like a freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior. He graduates. She never liked him. She never speak to him or nothing. That's Africa. Y'all keep being in love with Africans. Africans never speak to you, never like you, never bring none to the table, never have nothing in your community, nothing. The only time we see Africans is when we have a festival. They'll come to our neighborhood to sell their junk and take money out the neighborhood, and then they disappear. They'll show up to make money if you have a festival, and they be nasty then. They'll show up for Essence Fest to rob our people of our culture and have all African food and basically try to be like a slap in the face. They're always competing with us for so many years. They ain't on nothing. They not. That's why many of us like me, we don't do Pan-African stuff. I used to be like Pan-African, but I didn't know Africans didn't like me. So you see these Black Americans talking about, I seen some sister talking about she go to Nigeria and she love Nigeria. She don't like FBA. That's because she's sleeping with African men. African men have been up in there. She would have never said that to me. She got orange on and she going viral. This sister talking about she love Africa. She going over there and they D'ing her down, right? She having sex with an African man. Trust me. She lying. She ain't telling the whole truth. Because Black women go over to Africa and let them women run up to them. I'm too rough on Africans. What you mean? What they've done for me not to be rough? What should I say about them? And why you ain't watching no Africans? Don't watch me then. Go watch some Africans. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no Chicago attitude. I've been all across this country. This not based on Chicago. That's what you think. It's not based on Chicago. This when I'm saying not based on Chicago, you guessing. You guessing. You guessing. I know more about other blacks than any of y'all. That's a fact. There's nobody on this internet know about other blacks more than me. That's a fact. I'm number one on this internet. You see this picture? That's me. The brother in the middle, he from the Virgin Islands. And this Tabby Diamond here, Jamaican. I was deep in the Pan-African culture. I know what I'm talking about. This big Pharaoh, my reputation precedes me. You just don't know who you're talking to. Name it. Trinidadians, name them. Name it. Name them. Name an African country. Name a black people. I've been around them personally. Personally. You ain't got no experience like me, so be quiet. You're not me. See? All these brothers from the Virgin Islands, except the one on the far right. He from LA. All these other ones is from the Virgin Islands. They don't, Listen, if you go around if I go around them and they like me, but they ain't never with no other black Americans, what the hell that tell you? So when you say my personal experience, they like me too. But they didn't like you. They didn't like none of y'all. Okay? That's a fact. That's a fact. Just because I'm around them don't mean they like my people. And when you leave, they say stuff about you. That's a fact. And they act different. And so if you come around an African or Caribbean, around they people, they got one way they act. And then when you walk up, you can see them adjust how they act. Now, if you ain't think that, you're not me. They adjust how they act when you walk up. And then when you leave, they turn back Caribbean or they turn back Ghanaian. They do this fake change slightly when you come around. You can pick up the difference in how they talking and how they mingling when it's just them and how they act when you walk up. If you ain't see that, that's because you phony. You're not like Big Pharaoh. I'm telling the facts. That you can walk into a room full of Jamaican rosters and there's one energy, and when you walk in the room, the whole energy change. You can walk in a room full of African brothers from any country, and there's one energy, and when you come, the whole energy change. They be doing fake Pan-Africanism because if all these Africans and Jamaicans enough was really Pan-African, why you don't see no big international Pan-African movement? Show me the results of all this black love. Show me black, point to me something that's international black love. Show me one thing. Show me one thing in real life that represent international black love. Name me one thing. Name me one thing that represents international black love. It doesn't exist. We don't even have no international black events. It does not exist. They have Belizean Day. They have Jamaican Independence Day. They have Ghana Fest like that. There is no international black nothing. There's nothing international black. Name it. Name the event. When they took over the Essence Fest, they didn't even include us. In America, at our fest we started, they turned the whole thing African. That's love? No, that's a conquest. That's them trying to outdo us. That ain't love. They booked some black acts to take our money and make money off of us. Okay, them people don't like you, okay? This Big Pharaoh, this not Little Pharaoh. Those that you want to learn, listen to me. You don't want to learn, don't listen. You don't want to learn? Fine, don't listen. But you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. That's a fact. You talking to the wrong one. I got more experience than 10 of y'all put together. I'm really him. Make no mistakes. I'm really him. I'm really that dude. I know what I'm talking about. Name a group of blacks. I've been around them. Name a group. And it's the same distant type of vibe. That's just what it is. Anybody tell you anything different? When you see these brothers talk all this black love, they ain't nobody. They fans or whatever. They was all excited to be around somebody, some other black people. But them people ain't really like them like that. They lying. Them people don't like them like that. They lying. They lying. This my brethren, he from Ethiopia. He distant. He come around us because we was Rasta. He was raised in the castle. He was raised in the palace with Haile Selassie. He cool, but it ain't no really building with us. Everything he do is Ethiopian. He ain't got no kind of bond with black Americans like that. He'll sit around you. These is our facts. I've been with all of them. Name the country. They ain't got no love for us. This my other brethren from Trinidad. Hey, they was cool. This the brethren I was with when we went to the reggae club. So one day I'm chilling with them. They lived in Harvey. Him and some other Trinidadian Rastas. They say, we thinking we Rastas. We talking that nonsense they over here talking, right? So me and this brother, I Roots from Trinidad, Kajba, and me, we go to the reggae club. Black unity, Rasta, no matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African, right? Right? That's what Peter Tosh said. We walk in the club. Some Jamaicans is here. We come in, we walk past some there. I'm standing here with the Trinidadian brothers. Here's my Jamaican brethren. I leave the Trinidadians and walk over to the Jamaicans to greet them. They say, Ramesses, what you do with that Trini boy? What you do with them Trini boys? That's what they said. Some Rastafarian, some Pan-African Rastafarian turned up their nose, asked me what I'm doing with the Trini boys. I was young. I was probably like early 20s. Probably had my dreadlocks about a year or two. That's what they said. So imagine as a young Rasta and listening to Pan-African, imagine that experience early that I stored in my memory bank. Because I was confused. I was totally confused. I was totally confused because I'm going thinking, oh, this is great. I'm a Black American Rasta, Trinidadian Rasta, Jamaican Rasta. Oh, this what Peter Tosh talking about. This Rasta, this Black Pan-Africanism. Man, they looked at me. I didn't even know they called them Trinis. I never heard that. Rastas. They said, Ramesses, what y'all do with the Trini boy? So if they don't really like the Trini boys, you know damn well they didn't really like me. How they don't like me, but how they like me, but they don't like another brother from the Caribbean where they from. So y'all really believe they liked me? Who believed they liked me? Who believed that they didn't talk about me behind my back when they from the Caribbean? They from Jamaica, the Caribbean, they Rastas. This Rasta is from Trinidad. They both from the Caribbean. And they didn't like him. They ain't like him. So these people, when you see people talking Pan-African, especially Black Americans, they frauds. They overlook the hate. They so stuck on want to be Pan-African, they overlook the hate. When I got to California, that's when I first heard a couple of them say Yankee and stuff like that. They ain't really never called me no Yankee because I ain't with the hanky-panky and I'll spank D. You feel me? So they didn't really call me that because I never went all the way Pan-African. I kind of kept it a little gangster because I'm seeing, because first it's territorial. So my divide was, listen, you on my, I hang out with y'all, But my other friends is Crips and Bloods and GDs and BDs. Y'all ain't my only friend. I'm a Black American. I got a Black American team. And you a visitor. You the visiting team, and your numbers is little. So coming from Chicago, you know, you little. It's a bunch of Black people. It's a bunch of foundational Black Americans here. So when you got a funny attitude, it kind of tripped me out because we can run you out the city. You don't run nothing here. So I was a little dominant with that because my thing is, you ain't in the Caribbean, punk. So watch yourself. You understand? Watch yourself. Because Chicago's a little kind of gangster. I grew up as a shorty kind of gangster, emulating, gang members and gangsters. So I had like a little bit, a mobster kind of attitude, even though I was a revolutionary. I wasn't with no plan or nothing, because I'm like, you cannot come to the USA and play with me in the USA? What, is you crazy? Because I was the most powerful roster in America. There wasn't no Jamaican or no Trinidad more powerful than me. When I was coming up, I was the most powerful roster in the United States. Why? Because the Black Americans liked me. They didn't like the other rosters. When the Black Americans hear me talk, they're like, where you from? Like Chicago. Oh, damn. How long you been growing them dreads? See what I'm saying? So when I went to the county jail, I was a celebrity. My first day in the county jail, they was like, hey, Jamaica, come here. That's what they said. And I walked over to the table. I said, I ain't from no damn Jamaica. They like, oh, I throw the whole thing out. Where you from? I'm from here. They confused. You know what I'm saying? They confused. No, I ain't from Jamaica. They was like, when you be hustling, you be with them Jamaicans. I'd be like, no, they'll rob your ass. I don't mess with them Jamaicans like that. They're like, damn. So right off, I was plugged. Because the Black Americans, they're like, we got a roster. That's how they do me. We got our own roster. You know what I'm saying? I was walking around Parkway. I was the only roster they seen. The King Von and all them, they are at Chief Keef. I'm telling you, if I could sit down and talk to Chief Keef right now, I guarantee you he'll be like, you was the first dude I seen with dreadlocks. But they was kids. So I didn't recognize them, but they recognized me. I'm original Dreadhead Savage. I'm the first Dreadhead Savage in O-Block. That's a fact. Anybody O-Block can tell you. I used to walk back and forth down to Dulles and pick my daughter up. My daughter's favorite rapper in the world is Chief Keef. Because she was in the first, second, third grade. She went to grade school with Chief Keef's little sister. And Chief Keef used to come up there and pick his sister up just before he had dreadlocks or anything. And I was walking around in O-Block with dreadlocks down my back. My dreadlocks would be dragging the ground, but I got stabbed and they got thin and I pulled them off. But my dreadlocks, 40 years old, I would have to wrap them up. I lost a lot of blood, so they got thin. But I was the first, I'm original dreadhead in O-Block. The little kids used to run up to me, little second grade, third grader. I know what those is. I say, what? Dreadlocks. That's what they used to say. That's a fact. I'm the first one that them BDs seen. I'm the first one that them GDs seen. I'm the first one. And I was outside with the Four Corner Hustlers, the Blackstones, the BDs, all the Vice Lords and all that. I'm a Black American, really original. I'm the original Black American Rasta. And I'm going to tell you right now, ain't no love. Black Americans need to stick together. You think I just changed my philosophy for nothing? My philosophy was phony. I had a philosophy based on other people's philosophy, but the philosophy was phony. Pan-Africanism is phony. It does not exist. There is no Pan-Africanism in Africa. There's no Pan-Africanism in Africa. I'm telling you, they don't get along. They tribal. There is no Rastas in Ethiopia. Haile Selassie from Ethiopia, right? They don't deal with Rasta. They don't like Rasta in Ethiopia. They beat up the Rastas and chased them out. Look it up. The Ethiopians beat one brother, busted his head. He almost passed out. They took him to the police station. He was bleeding out before they took him to the hospital. Them Rastas had to flee Ethiopia. Then they, about 4 years ago, they bulldozed the Rasta camp. Look it up. The Ethiopians bulldozed the Rasta camp. All them Rastas that went to Shashamani is back in Jamaica. The only Rastas they like is African Rastas that's down there in South Africa. But if you ain't no African, the other brother, he just went to jail. They cut his dreadlocks off in Africa. Look it up. The brother went to jail. I forgot what country for some herb. They cut his locks. That happened last year. Look it up. They persecute Rasta. Like, ain't no Pan-Africanism. That's why I tell Foundation Black Americans, instead of y'all, listen, the Black Americans that's pushing unity for all Blacks is traitors. You show me any Black American that'll come tell me we all got to get together around the world, and I guarantee you they can't show you where they trying to get Black Americans together in America. Facts. I'll embarrass them on any show because they will not be able to show you that same unity in their city. They ain't a mug gonna come and tell you, right? A mug gonna come tell you like this. Look, you change from your experiences, but do you think in concept of Pan-African movement that all those involved were sincere? Are Black Americans uniting in their cities? What are you doing to unite Black people in your city? Nothing. You putting Pan-Africanism over unity right in your city. There is no unity with Black Americans. So ask me what I think about you pushing this international unity when there's no unity in your city between Black Americans. Why would you put Pan-Africanism over stopping the gang wars and unifying Black Americans? So if you can't unify Black Americans, what make me think you can unify Black people around the world when you can't unify Black people in your damn neighborhood? All that stuff you're saying is fake. We ain't even unified here as ourselves. I don't want to hear that. Pan-Africanism is garbage. The concept idea is garbage if the idea won't work in your neighborhood. You don't get it? The idea of unifying all over the world when you can't unify in your city is garbage. Unity goes like this, not out there back in. So what, Pan-Africanism is going to go the reverse way? And I answered the question. The question is, Pan-Africanism is trash. It's garbage. It's a fake ideology. And the people that practice it can't unify people globally because they cannot unify people in their own neighborhood. You got no stores, you got no businesses, nothing. You were going to Chinese restaurants. How many black restaurants you got in your neighborhood? You talking about Pan-Africanism. You got no stores, you got no gas. How many gas stations you got? How many gas stations foundational black Americans got? You're buying gas from Arabs, but you're talking about unifying with black folks all over the damn place, and you never have no benefit from that unity. Now I'm going to take a break. Write me 5 benefits of Pan-African that's going to benefit us. I can't wait, because it's not. It's not. Write me 5 reasons, 5 things that's going to benefit us from being Pan-Africans. Write it in the chat. I can't wait to read it. Look, this is what Pan-Africanism is like. Pan-Africanism is like this. You live in a house. You got 4 brothers and sisters. There's 5 of y'all. Y'all always argue, fight, don't get along. Then you go outside and you get along with all the kids outside. That's Pan-Africanism. You smile, you grin with all the kids outside. But when you get home with your little brothers and sisters, you beefing. That's Pan-Africanism. A black American that's trying to love some blacks everywhere and don't like blacks right where they from. That's Pan-African. That's Pan-Africanism. Anytime you're not trying to take care of your community and your city, you lose it. And it don't even have to be Pan-Africanism. Let's say we're talking about black unity in America. How can you have black unity in America if you don't got black unity in Chicago? Listen, yes or no? Can we have black Americans, can they unify in America if black Americans don't unify in Chicago? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. If black Americans don't unify in Chicago, can we unify in America? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, can we? Can we unify in America if we don't unify in Chicago? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. So if we can't unify in Chicago, which means we ain't going to unify in America, how the hell are we going to unify around the world? Make it make some damn sense. If you can't unify in Chicago, that means you can't unify in America. If you can't unify in America, how you going to unify with some Africans? So you're telling me that Africans in Ghana can be going to world war hating each other and they can unify in Africa? You're telling me that in Ethiopia, you got the Oromo, you got the Amara, right? And you got the other group. You got the 3 groups, the Tigrayans, going to war in Ethiopia. And you're telling me Ethiopia can unite when the Oromo and the Amara and the Tigrayan hate each other and they constantly fight in Ethiopia? So let me get this straight. They fighting against each other in Ethiopia, and Africa can unite. Africa can unite if they fighting against each other in Ethiopia, if they fighting against each other in Ghana, if they fighting against each other in Nigeria. Africa can not. You can have Pan-Africanism. You can have Pan-Africanism. You can have Pan-Africanism when they don't get along in the country. We should be spending. So y'all want a black man to waste years of their life on black women, because I wasted years. I wasted Pan-Africanism. I wasted years. I'm trying to stop y'all. I wasted years with that nonsense. I wish when I was 20, I knew what I knew now. I never would have did no Pan-Africanism. You're going to waste your life. It's never going to happen. You're going to be wasting your life talking Pan-Africanism, and it's never going to happen in your lifetime. It's not. It hasn't happened yet, and I don't want no. What make you think magically it's going to happen in the next 40 years in your life and it ain't happened in hundreds of years? It's not going to happen. What can happen is you can get your communities together. You can get your cities together, and you might be able to unite black people in America, foundational black Americans. Until foundational black Americans is united, I don't give a damn about uniting with no other blacks. This is where this is crazy. Foundational black Americans unite with foundational black Americans. Africans unite with Africans. Caribbeans unite with Caribbeans. And when you get that together, then you put it together. Let's take military. You got the Army. Is the Army united? Yes. You got the Navy. Is the Navy united? Yes. You got the Marines. Is the Marines united? Yes. You got the Air Force. Is the Air Force united? Yes. You got the Coast Guard. Is the Coast Guard united? Yes. Can you unite them? Yes, because they're united, and you have the U.S. military. The U.S. military is made out of 5 united groups. They're not trying to unite each other. You understand? Go watch something else then. Right? They're not trying to unite each other. There are 5 groups uniting. He said, I'm not on subject. I am on subject because the hell with the Somalians. I'm not uniting with the Somalians. I'm not standing up for the Somalians. I don't care nothing about the Somalians. I really want the Somalians deported because they don't benefit us at all. They're not our friends. We're never going to unite with them. And so I don't care what happened to them. So I'm definitely on subject. I'm definitely on subject. Lock them up, deport them, because they're in our country, eating off of our table, and we're the black people that made it possible for them to get here, and they don't give a damn about us, period. So I'm 100% on subject. The Somalians are enemies to us. Those are not our friends, period. And they pushing a religion, and religion is anti-unity, because you can't unite with no fanatical Muslims unless you're a Muslim. And Islam has been one of the biggest weapons to divide people because it's fanatical, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm 100% on topic. Because people start asking me, should I have love for these African people? And I'm saying no. And now I'm explaining why. And so when you come in the middle of a conversation and you say it's off topic, you lack education, because you should go back to the beginning and you should watch to see how we got to that point. You can't come into the middle of a discussion. My discussions don't be, oh, come talk about that and leave. I never do that. I talk about what's going down, and then we break down all the intricacies involved with it. I respond to the audience. So when I respond to the audience, people come and they mad because I'm not on subject, but I'm not staying on subject. I'm talking to my people that's watching me. And when they ask me something, I'm gonna go there. I'm not gonna ignore y'all questions to stay on subject. I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna ignore y'all questions to stay on subject. Once I get the beginning off, then I'm open for discussion. Usually my videos is done in the first hour. We're in the second hour. If you want to see what the subject is about, you got to watch the first 45 minutes. After the first 45 minutes, now we breaking down the intricacies and other subjects related to that subject. All of this is related because them people don't give a damn about us. Them Somalians. They don't care. They don't even like you. They don't even like each other in Somalia. That's why they going to war over there. So all of this is relative. For sure. Because you look crazy standing up for Somalians when you don't have proper representation in the Congress and the Senate. Foundational Black Americans ain't focusing on power. We need to be getting foundational Black Americans in the Congress and the Senate. That's what we need to be doing. That's what we need to be doing. Period. This woman got our position. A foundational Black American woman should have that job, not her. She's going to do nothing for you. She's going to do for Somalians and Muslims. Muslim Somalians. We need to get these Black tethers out of office and put foundational Black Americans in office. Period. And ignore Pan-Africanism before we end up starving over here. Africa can't control its own natural resources. You understand? We need to be taking that job. Yeah, get out of there. I don't care if they throw in jail. And when they deport all them people out of Minneapolis, foundational Black Americans should move in. Listen, let's turn this up more. Listen to me good. Now we're gonna take it to another level. Listen to me. Hold on, let me get this person out of here. That's why I don't be on Kick and stuff. Because, they don't control the platform. There's too many trolls over there. And, they don't care nothing about the platform. They're not keeping that platform. You know what I'm saying? They let that platform, that's why I'll be over there. Because it's just too, it's just too net. All right, I'm going to leave you over here. Nah, I don't like your title. There's nothing about your title that says you decent. Yeah, let me get you out of here. Yeah, you got to go. You're a troll. Get you some respect. You know what I'm saying? Get you some respect. He said I'll get done in the county, and I've been in the county. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm talking to one of these people. To one of these people on I'm talking to the trolls. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of trolls on Kick. Look at his name. You know what I'm saying? I'm live streaming on Kick, Twitch, and all that, and they don't clean that up over there. They got to clean it up. It's too tacky. So I have to go over there and get rid of them. It's too tacky over there. But back to what I was saying. If you look at the situation, right? We don't have our business together, right? And I kind of lost my train of thought. Where would I leave off at? I left off. I forgot. I was going to say something heavy though. I was going to change the whole conversation. It'll come back to me though. Somebody know where I left off at? Let me know, because it was a new conversation and it flew as soon as I dealt with somebody else. But it's going to come back to me. There's other things that we could be doing as foundational Black Americans, especially when it comes to politics. Though that's a fact. That's a fact. There's other things we could do. Somebody rewind. No, I was saying something else right before. I was definitely saying we got to put more people in office though. Right, right. I was talking about Minneapolis things. Oh yeah, now I remember what it was. Look, right now, y'all listen to me. All across the South, right? They're running out of water. They are running out of water. Georgia, Florida, right? 7 states that use the Colorado River and that dam. Arizona, Vegas, they are running out of water. Okay. The only place that's going to have water, right, is places by the Great Lakes. They are the only places that are going to have water. When they kick those people out, right, those are going to be the places to move to. The places to move to is going to be the Great Lakes. So when they kick and chase the Somalians out of Minnesota and Minneapolis, if you got a house, don't say I didn't tell you, in any of these deserts, in any of these places that's running out of water, do your own research. Many states are running out of water. I did a live on it, go watch it. There's 7 states out west, and they're only going to have water for 5 of them. They saying California automatically going to get the water, but the other 6 are going to have to bid because the Colorado River is running low. It's like it's 2 holes like this in the dam, and the water coming to those holes, and the water level's like right here. If the water level goes down to here, the dam turning off. When the dam turn off, 7 states will be without electricity. These is facts. Florida is running out of water. one whole area in Florida, everybody got to move already. They don't have no water. And Florida's sharing water with Georgia. Property values are about to tank. In Florida, they talking about only using so much water. You might have to take 10-minute showers. There's people in Florida that's got these containers that they put water in, and they hand water in their grass because it uses less water. We got extreme droughts all across the country. This is a fact. In Chicago, we've only had one snow. And in Chicago, it snows from Christmas on through now. And there's no snow outside. And it's February. I'm born in February. Snow's supposed to be up to your shins with the sidewalk paved, the sidewalk shoveled. So you're supposed to be walking down the sidewalk. There's supposed to be snow on both sides. No snow. Barely. And so, in terms of Minneapolis, I'm giving y'all game. Go in there and take that from them Africans. Don't say I didn't tell you. Go in there. When they deport them Africans, go in there and get that land. Because when white Americans in Arizona and New Mexico and some in California, they're going to go get that land. They're going to be moving all around the Great Lakes. Because we the only ones going to have water. Don't say I didn't tell you. This is why people say I'm off subject, because that segue, because I started thinking about they finna deport them people and who gonna go in there. And I'm telling y'all, get your ass in here. Because that property value gonna go through the roof. All them houses and stuff, houses in Chicago, houses in Michigan, houses in Minnesota. If you buy them now, the price gonna be 5 times to 10 times higher than if you buy them now. Because you're getting ready to see a great exodus in America where people going to move where there's water. And the only water going to be by the Great Lakes because all the other water is seawater. You can't drink that. If you think I'm lying, go watch my live I did on it. And there's a brother on Instagram that's breaking it all down. There's a brother on Instagram breaking it down. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. America's running out of water. America's running out of water. And that property's worth a fortune. Don't say I didn't tell you. America is running out of water. You better listen. If you think I'm lying, go on Instagram and follow Alaska Gladiator 400. I'm telling you, if you're on Instagram, follow this man. Follow this man. Because he is posting video after video about this drought. You're going to trip out. And these processing plants that's processing all of these AI is using 100 million gallons of water a day. And they all over the country sucking up all the water. Elon Musk's factories sucking up all the water. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, you better listen. As of early 2026, severe water shortages and chronic high stress affect multiple U.S. states, particularly in the West and Southwest, with roughly 40 to 45% of the lower 48 states experiencing drought. The most severely impacted states include New Mexico, California, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, Utah, Texas, and Idaho. These are facts. And so there's going to be a lot of people chased out of Minnesota, Minneapolis. You might want to go and get that land. Foundational Black Americans got to play hardball. We're not playing the right game. Look, as of February 2026, there are no statewide mandatory legal enforced shower time limits for Florida residents. However, due to severe drought conditions, water managers in South Florida and Tampa Bay are urgently asking residents to voluntarily reduce water usage, including limiting shower times and laundry. So you see how I'm putting it all together? Them people in Somalia are sitting on a gold mine. Them people in Minnesota, because they're sitting right by the lake. And when they get them out of there, go get that land. Go buy them homes. Because right now, it's the end of February. Do you know how much property is going to go up by those lakes by the 1st of August? And do you know how much your property finna go down if you live in Florida? If you live in Arizona? Your property's finna plummet. Nobody's gonna buy, everybody's gonna leave. Nobody, your property ain't gonna be worth a nickel. Listen, your property not gonna be worth a nickel. Winter in Florida is rain season, but they get a lot of their water from aquifers under the ground from Georgia. Florida's getting their water, northern Florida's getting their water from Georgia. Now, you don't have to listen to me. I'm just giving you game on top of this other story. That land that them Somalians got, when they deport them, go up there and get that land. You understand? Go up there and get that land. I'm telling you. When they deport them, go get that land. I'm telling you. Go get that land. I'm telling you months. This summer, this is going to be the conversation. And go follow bro, Alaska Gladiator 400, if you think I'm lying. He's posting all the news stories on this subject. He blowing the trumpet. He blowing the whistle. He trying to warn people. You think I'm lying? If you're on Instagram, go follow. Because he's got all the statistics and everything. That ties in with what we're talking about. When they run them out, go get that property. FBA, don't say I didn't put you up on game. If you're in Florida, sell your home. Sell it now. Florida and Georgia share water resources primarily through the Apalachicola, Chattahoochee, Flint River Basin, which flows from Georgia into Florida's Apalachicola Bay. A long-standing water war exists over consumption, but in 2021, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled in favor of Georgia, finding Florida failed to prove that Georgia's water usage caused the collapse of its oyster fisheries. The fisheries are losing money. Brothers going to fish. There's hardly no fish because the water levels is so low. I'm telling you the facts. So when they come down on these Somalians, go get that land. You don't have to listen. You could think it's a joke. But go do your research. The Colorado River is in a severe long-term crisis due to a 20-plus year drought and climate change, with major reservoirs like Lake Mead and Lake Powell at critically low levels, triggering significant water cutbacks. As of early 2026, states are struggling to reach a census on post-2026 usage rules, risking federal intervention. The feds got to come in because they don't have enough water for all the states. You can take it for a joke if you want to. Key aspects of the crisis as of 2026. Current restrictions: the lower basin, Arizona, Nevada, and Mexico has faced mandatory shortages, with Arizona bearing significant cuts to its central Arizona project supply. Unresolved negotiations. States reliant on the river failed to meet a February 2026 deadline to agree on a new long-term conservation plan to replace guidelines expiring this year. Competing interests. Lower basin states, Arizona, California, Nevada, are debating how to share cuts, with California emphasizing its senior water rights, while upper basin states, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Wyoming, argue their supply is already limited by low snowpack, environmental and infrastructure risk. A 2025 report warned that key dam infrastructure could become inoperable by 2027 if water levels in major reservoirs continue to fall, threatening the water supply for 40 million people. Future outlook: the federal government has indicated it will impose its own potentially severe reduction if a voluntary agreement among states is not reached. The crisis is driven by a combination of, to quote from the recent report, a 2-decade-long drought or mega drought, climate-driven evaporation, and overall location of the river's water. So, the Somalians are sitting on valuable land. Now, this is a good question. Does that have a little bit to do with the pressure to get them out of there? Possibly, because they sitting on the water. The value of Minnesota, Illinois, and these states are going to go through the roof. Hey, don't say I didn't tell you. You don't get this type of information anywhere. Nobody would never really tie this together like I just did. But I'm telling you, buy land in those states. You might have some problems with floods, but you'll have water because the climate, the planet is flipping. And the deserts is finna turn to water. And the places where water is finna turn to deserts. And some of the places that are desert are going to become even worse. Not all deserts are going to flip. The little water they got, they won't have none. Places like Texas, Arizona, going to be bone dry. Even California might run out of water. Because if that water gets below those two holes in the dam like this that suck the water in, if that water get there, the dam's going to cut off. And the West Coast going to be in the dark. No electricity. Hey, don't say I didn't tell you. Okay? Go get that land from them Somalians. Send them back to Somalia and go get that land. Because I can tell you, I really believe when you think about this drought, America gonna kick them out, and white America is gonna go get them houses. People from Florida and Arizona that's seeing about the drought every day on their news, because you don't see their news. They're gonna try to sell, and do not buy no houses in them dry areas. You're gonna be the biggest sucker ever. Sell now, because your property value is getting ready to go boom. Nobody gonna move to Florida. Who gonna move to Florida? Who gonna move to Texas? Who gonna move to Arizona? Who gonna move in the middle of the desert? Nobody. Nobody's gonna move to the desert. Everybody's gonna start moving around the water. Hey, don't say I didn't put you up on game. That's why people watch me. The smart ones watch me. The other ones don't. And that was the news. Victory.